What's going on? It's the RapNerd, and I just got out of seeing M3GAN 2.0, and it is a follow-up to 2023's M3GAN. Now, in this story, a new AI bot named Amelia has come on the scene, and she's wreaking havoc everywhere. She's not only a threat to the people around her, but to humanity as a whole. So now it's up to Gemma, Sadie, and a newly resurrected M3GAN who is stronger, faster, a better fighter and everything to stop Amelia before the end of mankind as we know it is upon us. Now this movie, man, I ain't gonna lie, I loved it, and I had a hell of an entertaining time watching it. What you see in the trailer is exactly what the movie is, and if that doesn't look like it's up your alley, you're not gonna like this movie. But if you saw that trailer and was like, oh hell yeah, this is gonna be fun, you are in for a gang of fun for a night. Now this movie literally skips over being a horror film, so I want to start there. And I'm sure if you've seen other reviews, everybody said the same thing. This is by no means a horror, and it's tapped into the sci-fi action genre now, and I feel like it did a good job at it. I found it to be thrilling. I thought the action sequences were actually pretty good. The whole sci-fi elements of AI and people working on tech and all these different things, it feels like a real sci-fi movie. It doesn't feel like they half-assed that aspect of it all, which is what was surprising, because there's still the same type of humor in the movie, again, as you saw in the trailer, and the things that M3GAN says, like, hold on to your vaginas, like, all of that is present, but it still goes for it in regards to sci-fi, and even trying to make a compelling story with its own twists and turns as the story continues, that threw me for a loop. I was like, damn, they're actually taking the genre sci-fi seriously. There's even moments that kind of feel like espionage films with having to break into different bases and all of that. Highly surprising. It's a good looking movie. There's a lot of CGI, but for the most part, it never took me out of it. I thought it was all pretty cool, and I really liked the dynamic of those four characters. Like I mentioned, now Sadie is a lot older, which is crazy. It's like she grew overnight. Like now she's just like a damn teenager. So with her being older and having more awareness of her surroundings, her own emotions, and how she feels, it makes for a different story because she can really voice her opinion about things, especially when it comes to M3GAN. And what I like what they did with Gemma's character is they kind of flip her whole motives from the first movie to make her kind of different, and also grapple with the fact of things that she did, and grappling with how hard it is to be a mom. Because we see in that first movie, she was really trying hard to be there for Sadie, but it was difficult. But this gap of time, I don't know what the gap between the two are. And again, you can see the time gap and just how much older Sadie is in the movie. And that same banter that M3GAN had in the first movie is back, but I think it's ramped up to other levels because everybody's aware of M3GAN, so there's no need to kind of hide her. So when she is around, she is right at the neck with the slick talk and doesn't hold back at all. And to double down on what I said, this movie went from horror to straight up Terminator style shit, and I'm down for it because it was entertaining. I will say that it was a little bit too long. The movie's about 2 hours, and I feel like wherever that 30 minutes in there is, it could definitely be cut down to be an hour and a half, because there were points of time when I was like, all right, what are we doing? Like, when you start feeling the clock and you wondering like what time it is, especially with this movie not being that type of film that's gonna spark up conversation and discussion on what it's trying to present. Like, yeah, it does make a little commentary on AI and tech and screen time when it comes to kids and all of this stuff, but it doesn't ever feel deep at all. It's just part of what has to be said because the plot is dealing with AI in general, and AI is a huge thing nowadays, so you have to say that so you can look like you have some sort of responsibility, but it never goes further than the surface level. And I sound like a broken record, but I'm just really surprised at how committed to the sci-fi elements they were. And I think Amelia was a cool character, and even the way that she operated was dope. And as you see in the trailer, her and M3GAN square up a few times in the film, so it was really exciting to see them fight and even have their fair share of beating up henchmen. So there's a lot of good choreography that I did not expect. Some really nice action sequences that I look forward to rewatching again, because I'm definitely going to add this to my collection and go alongside my M3GAN Steelbook. So Blumhouse, you better release a Steelbook. Like, it feels like somebody gave a director at the Syfy channel a lot of money to just make something as entertaining as possible. because man, is it fun. And with that being said, it's hard for me to even rank this movie because it's obvious that there are flaws. You could pick it apart if you go looking, but I feel like if you're going into this movie wanting to see it, you already know it's not going to be a masterpiece in perfection from a technical standpoint. So take that with what you will. This is literally a popcorn movie that is made straight up for entertainment and nothing more. And I think the replay value was high, so for that, I really, really loved it. So if you've seen M3GAN 2.0, let me know in the comments what you thought. What was your favorite sequence? Honestly, mine was all of the action, because you have Amelia and M3GAN who are like superheroes in a sense with what they're able to do. It just made for some really dope sequences, especially when they were kicking henchmen's ass. I thought that all of that was dope. I'm a huge fan of good fighting choreography, and this delivered that. But if you like this kind of content, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you already are subscribed, thank you. Until next time, peace. RapNerd Productions, no capping, that's word to mommy. Instead of banking on it, now rapping is just a hobby.